Mazala came on and confirmed last night that Nabi is going to Kaizer Chiefs. Has even gone further and said that early next week we're going to be seeing his assistant coming to Kaizer Chiefs to start with an analysis of the current crop of players, but also he went into more detail about how he'll have a say in the player acquisition as well as player release. Welcome to it. This is Sports that are Amplified with Andile. It's exactly 9 after the hour 6. Timmy reminding me that last year people heard the name Nabi for the first time on this show when we'd had wind of his conversations with Kaizer Chiefs. We never confirmed it, but we did say he's a strong candidate and he's the one they're talking to. Just as much as when the deal didn't happen, we're the first to say their deal's not going to happen. Because, we've been speaking to his camp. Last night at Super Journal, a part of the show, on Mondays especially, where we do the Three Wise Men, has confirmed the news. He's even given detail of the stipulated contract. We'll get into that and so much more in just a bit. Yes, he's put his neck out there as the Super Journal and said, I am the leading journalist when it comes to all things football, and this is what I'm saying. It is what it is. And then we'll speak a little bit about cricket. Cricket World Cup. It's out in the USA. Yeah, it's got the islands as well that are part of it, Trinidad and Tobago, etc. But the USA has taken center spotlight on this. I, for one, am very disappointed with what I've been watching, listening to, and seeing. I think this is going to go down as one of the worst. Yes, it might spread the game and grow the game in the USA a little, but at what cost? At what cost? So we'll get into that as well. Taking your calls as well as your voice notes towards the end of the show. That's at 18:45. Let's take a break. When we come back, what did the Super Journal have to say about the contract details within Nabi's contract? 12 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. I am Andile Ncube alongside my team that consists of Timmy T. Maranda, the producer of the show, Malcolm Ndlovu, who is the tech producer. We've got Tabonkwala, the tech imaging, and Biso Snaps, who does all the social media. And of course, the SABC team that brings us live to you as you're watching it right now on the different social media platforms on Facebook as well as on Instagram. A little bit later on, the show will be available on the metrofm.co.za podcast platform, but also on YouTube. Hey, so the Nabi story has been going around for a while. And I said to you, I'm not going to confirm anything with Kaizer Chiefs that I don't know for sure. And there's a lot of speculations. I am not putting my neck down for anything. Until the Super Journal came up and said, Andile, here's the story. Started here on this show last night. He confirmed the news, shared details of the contract, then went over to Soccer Zone on SABC Sports and SABC 1 at 10 o'clock on a Monday and gave us even more details. Let me play you what he had to say, and then I'll give you the story, of course, as it's been run now on sabcsport.com with a little bit more detail. Here's Mazala Mdodana speaking on Coach Nabi.
It is confirmed. I can tell you heard it first here. Kaizer Chiefs coach is Nabi, who's at the moment in Morocco. He's got one more cup match before he wraps it up. Kaizer Chiefs have had to pay compensation. Remember last year he was a free agent, so to speak, coming from Tanzania, but now they've had to pay compensation. The club will confirm. He's bringing here along his technical team. The issue there was that he would not be able to bring his people with, but that's since changed, and he will bring along around 3 or 4 backroom staff and assistant coach, as well as a fitness trainer, and then he will have carte blanche to some degree at least on which players leave and which players come in at natural.
What got cut there, Timmy? I don't know why you cut it. Was me saying carte blanche at Chiefs, and he goes on to say yes. But also, Mazala's gone a little bit further. If you follow him at Super Journal and go read the story on sabc.com, he's named Fernando de Cruz, who's, of course, going to be the assistant and part of the technical team that will be assisting at Kaizer Chiefs, right? He's gone further to say Fernando de Cruz is set to arrive in the country this week to begin working and assessing Kaizer Chiefs players. Nabi also wanted the ex-FAR Rabat technical director on board. So there you have it. That's it. Carte blanche on players. Peter Musimane was here. You heard what he had to say, right? Peter says, if you don't have a say in players, if you're a top coach, then don't put the results on me. Nabi seems found his way with Kaizer Chiefs, who had to buy him out of his contract. He's bringing 3 or 4 members of his own team and will have a say on player acquisition and player release. What do you think? It's 17 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. This is Sports Night Amplified with Andile. We're going to be speaking a little bit of cricket. There is a T20 World Cup currently underway. I am underwhelmed by this World Cup. I just haven't gotten into it. Ompile Ramele, former cricketer and now CEO of Border Cricket, is going to be talking to us about all things cricket. But also, we have Zahir Adams, a regular here on Sports Night Amplified with Andile. Always enjoying having him and his views. And I think he's ready now on the line. Zahir, thanks so much for joining us and welcome.
Hi there, Andile. Hi. I've always wanted to be the warm-up to Umpi. Always good.
Look at me making dreams come true. Zahir, man, firstly, how are you enjoying the T20?
I think it's been an entertaining tournament. I think we've seen plenty of some, let's call them, what's the shock, surprise results there. Pakistan going home, New Zealand going home, Scotland almost getting through. So yeah, it's been entertaining.
Well, I'm a bit shocked. I must be very honest. Yes, those have been some shockers in seeing those countries go through. But overall, the organization of it, the way that it's been running, the pitches that have left everybody complaining, the quality of cricket that's been played, some of the biggest names not being able to, when you watch a World Cup, you want to see the big names show up. If you want to grow the game in the USA, you want to show people how great it is that the game feeds the way that it does. I'm not seeing any of that. I'm hearing complaints, nagging. I'm hearing unsatisfactory people. I'm not going to speak about the commentary as far as the USA commentary is concerned. I'm pretty sure they're talking to toddlers. But the game on the pitch.
And then I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna throw you one of the best Googlies ever. I'm gonna spin it the other way. If you are a traditional baseball fan in America and you watch baseball your whole life, you literally see. If you see one home run the entire 4 hours, you are very fortunate. You are very fortunate. So the pitcher in baseball, he holds sway. He has always held sway. The ball, it's always been the person in most control of the game. Whereas in cricket, we have moved on for the last, say, 10 years, where batters have taken the game to a level where bowlers no longer of any form of the game. The scores we saw in the IPL, 270, 250, you might as well put a bowling machine there and had a slugger just to hit it out of the park. Those are the surfaces we were playing on in India. So we've become accustomed to that as cricket fans. But what I've enjoyed is the fact that the bowlers actually come back into the game. And that is what's given me some entertainment out of this. I think, though, the outfield, that hasn't been great, and the pitches has been sporty to say the least, but it's brought the bowlers back in the game, and that for me has been exciting. And we've also had plenty of close finishes. How many games has South Africa now won in the last over? We've all been sitting there chewing our nails against teams like Nepal and those type of things, where they would have been landslide victories had the conditions not been a little bit, had they been a lot more batter friendly. And that's what I've liked. So the cricket might not be what we've been used to and accustomed to for the last 10 years, but it's definitely been entertaining. It's been exciting, thrilling finishes, and that is what's going to attract an American audience. Not watching a batter just hit it out of the park, because they're not accustomed to that. They're not used to seeing the ball fly out of the ground all the time.
Yeah, no, I must be honest. I enjoy the art of bowling. I'm from the old school, where Pat Simcox was one of my favorites. I love watching bowlers do their thing. I think there's an art to it. But at the same time, when you're in a World Cup, if this World Cup was held anywhere else, I think the batters, just giving them a chance to fight, giving them an opportunity to showcase. I look at some of the best batsmen in the world right now, struggling with these pitches, complaining about these pitches. India saying, this is atrocious. How do we even play on this? Giving false hope to teams like Nepal, where you might think, oh, Nepal can actually, play a team like the Proteas. But truth be told, they really can't. It's just the conditions aren't allowing.
Absolutely. 100% the conditions aren't allowing. But you got to remember, this was also the first time that there were 20 teams at a World Cup. So the Cricket World Cup has never had 20 teams before. It's always been basically consigned to your elite 10 teams or maybe 12 at best. And the other countries would play like a prelude before the tournament. So cricket's been accused of not growing the game, not giving the likes of Oman, Nepal, Scotland, Netherlands, these type of teams, Papua New Guinea, opportunity. Even Uganda, they won their first game at the tournament. So we've had 3 African nations, as South Africa, Namibia, and Uganda.
What is it? It was against Papua New Guinea, I think it is.
Yeah, they beat Papua New Guinea.
I mean, look at the even yes, Uganda won a match. They were playing Papua New Guinea, number 1. Number 2, yes. I think the scores were like 75 or 76.
So what I'm saying is that so cricket's been accused. So how does cricket actually grow the game? So in the past, where it's only India, South Africa, New Zealand, England, West Indies, Pakistan, the usual nations, then cricket gets accused of not growing the game. They're not wanting to spread it further than the usual suspects. So this was the first World Cup where the game was taken was broadened and widened to different nations to participate. And you can't have South Africa scoring 250 and Nepal getting bowled out for 70 or 50. Then people are going to say, but it might as well play like the Football World Cup where Saudi loses by 21 goals to 0 or something. Then it's not a contest. So, but yes, the conditions were tailored to make it a bit more of a contest, but it produced at least the other teams they at least had a chance, because it's also 2020, the game gets shorter, you have a better chance. But I fully understand what you're saying. You want to see, and you will see it now once the Super 8 stage gets going, the entire tournament in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You'll have the bigger nations. The wickets will get better. Last night you saw the West Indies, Nicholas Pooran put on an absolute show, 98 or 50 balls or something. West Indies got 220, and they blitzed Afghanistan. So now that we're in the Caribbean, you'll see the regular cricket connoisseurs. They'll come to the fore, the batters, the Kohlis, the Klaasens, the Markrams. You'll see them come to the fore now in the Super 8 stage.
Pitch is uneven, the bounce uneven, the seam swing struggling, fast bowlers, rib cage. It hasn't been great, and I get it. We're trying to grow the game further than just the subcontinent, the tip of Africa, as well as Australasia. We're trying to grow the game so that it grows. It grows beyond some parts of Australia and of Europe. Because when you look at the USA, such a huge culture for sport. It does mean money, because the top leagues in the USA make a lot of money. Basketball makes a lot of money. American football makes a lot of money. They've been trying this with football, that is soccer, for many, many years. Since the time they brought the likes of Jomosono and Pelé to the USA to grow this, up until now when they bring in the likes of Messi to grow this. I just think that a World Cup has not been what it should have been, because that's not where you test something. You don't test it at World Cup level. You could have a couple of tri-nations there, you could have a couple of tournaments there, but you don't test it at a World Cup, Zahir.
You will see so basically what's happened now is that the World Cup actually only begins this week. So once South Africa and now the USA have got through to the Super 8, that's amazing in its own right. The fact that they've now got through to the knockout stages. So that creates interest from the locals, because Americans, they just hear that Star Spangled Banner, then they get all patriotic and the flag starts being mast at full mast. So that'll pick it up from now on until for the remainder. But what you'll see from now on is what we're accustomed to. We'll see the scores of 200. You'll see the batters take prominence. And the other thing that you talk about growing the game, we've got to remember that cricket is going back to the US in the next Olympics in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, 2028? That's the next Olympics, and cricket will be played at that Olympics. So this was basically the precursor to cricket at the Olympics in 2028. So when it arrives in Los Angeles in 2028, Americans will be accustomed to the game and the fact that Major League is also being played there at the moment. So I know I hear what you're saying, that you don't want to trial, but in fact, in essence, it is a trial for the Olympics in 2028.
Do you think there is, now that you've seen it, now that we've heard what the USA's packaging is of the game, do you think it would leave an indelible mark on the markets in USA? Do you think we'll see cricket grow from this World Cup?
I think what cricket's biggest challenge throughout the world, not just in the US, throughout the world, is the fact that it's still dominated by a subcontinent diaspora. So if you look at all the smaller nations, there is a huge influence of subcontinents, South Asian, Indian, Pakistan, Bengali players within their squads. The biggest challenge for any country, not just America, or at least burgeoning country, is the fact to get homegrown players within your squad. For players like Aaron Jones, for example, of the U.S. So he was born in the U.S., but he grew up in Jamaica. But those are the type of players that you're wanting to come through your systems. You don't only want basically expats playing for your... I mean, if you look at the American team right now, we got Shadley van Skalkwyk from Cape Town, you got Andries Gous from Bloemfontein, and you know, and that type of stories. You want the local people to play the game, and that is the biggest challenge. And hopefully, if America, as we saw with the Football World Cup in '94, when they got through to the second round, and it actually grew the women's game in America. So
it really did. I was about to say, it didn't grow the men's game much, but the women really took the baton and left after '94.
The women's game blew up. So the way I see it is that the women's game in America could blow up because you know what they do. Once they take something seriously and it's the Olympics, it goes into every school, it goes into every college, and then they play for real. Then they get serious. And we've seen, I mean, with our women's football, even in South Africa, the stars going across to America and then really dominating over there. So that is what I'm hoping it's going to do, that it's going to grow. I see it going more in the women's section, particularly with it being at the Olympics.
Listen, Zahir, I know there hasn't been much to watch for you to make this assertion or to even maybe try a gamble here, but from what you've seen, who are some of your favorites at the moment?
I think you can never write off India. I think that Indian side is always lurking. They've got some big name players, Kohli, Bumrah with the ball. They're always there and thereabouts. And then you've got Australia. They just, you know, a World Cup in Australia, it's like strawberries and cream at Wimbledon. They're always there, you know, at the business end. So that's definitely, they'll be in the mix. But we're always holding thumbs for the South Africans. So they're 4-0. And we hope that they just keep on edging over the line. And that's, as the Springboks showed, you only need to win by 1 point. So hopefully they keep winning by 1 run.
Well, we can only hope so. But I've learned that, and it's doctor's advice as well, that I don't put it all in hopes of the Proteas.
You're not emotionally invested.
No. I should just look at the scores at the end of the match. I mean, that Nepal game was proof in the pudding. That last ball, I thought to myself, we're about to lose to Nepal. Unbelievable. So, no, I'm not doing that to myself, but we'll keep on chatting. Thank you so much, Zahir, for coming on. Really, really enjoyed our chat. Let's agree to disagree on a huge chunk of this. I think it's been a waste of colossal time.
Great. The viewership in India has just gone through the roof, mate. The ICC have made millions.
Appreciate it. Zahir Adams, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
Zanele Mdodana came on and confirmed last night that Nabi is going to Kaizer Chiefs. Has even gone further and said that early next week we're going to be seeing his assistant coming to Kaizer Chiefs to start with an analysis of the current crop of players, but also he went into more detail about how he'll have a say in the player acquisition as well as player release. Have a listen to this. We'll talk about it just before top of the hour.
It is confirmed. I can tell you, you heard it first here. Kaizer Chiefs coach is Nabi, who's at the moment in Morocco. He's got one more cup match before he wraps it up. Kaizer Chiefs have had to pay compensation. Remember last year he was a free agent, so to speak, coming from Tanzania, but now they've had to pay compensation. The club will confirm. He's bringing along his technical team. The issue there was that he would not be able to bring his people with, but that's since changed, and he will bring along around 3 or 4 backroom staff and assistant coach, as well as a fitness trainer and then he will have carte blanche to some degree at least on which players leave and which players come in at natural.
Yeah, what you hear there being cut is me saying at Chiefs after he says that he'll have carte blanche to some degree of the player acquisition and release. So we'll get into that and we'll get some of your details on that. But firstly, let's go to one of our favorites, a friend of the room. Absolutely love having her. Whenever we get a chance to, we make sure that we get Zanele Mdodana, the first Proteas captain I ever knew. In fact, a huge introduction of professional netball was done to me through Zanele Mdodana, an absolute professional when she did it. Nowadays, she's a Spa Proteas assistant coach and netball commentator. Thank you so much for joining us as per usual, Zanele. I appreciate it.
You guys owe me big time.
Listen, we love you here, Zanele. We love you here.
So I'm told. Thank you so much for having me.
It's always a pleasure, man. We're watching, and more Timmy than myself, has been so excited about all things Telkom Netball League this season. Says, Andy, did you see the Free State Craneums? Did you see what they did? They're in the finals. It's going to be a hot one. And I thought to myself, gee, when last did I hear the Craneums are in the finals? It's always the Jaguars that I hear about.
Yeah, well, the Craneums were in the finals last year as well against the Jags.
Oh, wow.
It's the repeat of last year's final. But a completely different ball game. It's a new season. There's been some player movements and some pro-tier introductions in some of these teams, pro-tier player introductions. So tomorrow it's going to be a humdinger. I can tell you now. It's going to be all or nothing for both the teams.
I mean, they might have been in the final last year, but they're playing a team that's been in every final 11 times, winning 6 of those. What makes the Jaguars so much more elite?
It's a mindset. I mean, for majority of those years, they were coached by Jenny van Dijk, who's the current Spar Proteas head coach. And I've been sitting with her during the Telkom Netball League. We've been chatting. They just have a winning mindset. That's all they know. All they know is get into finals and win finals. So they're under a different coach this season. Well, for the past couple of, I think 3 years now, Roxanne Matthys. But she's got players that have been under Jenny's mentorship and coaching and guidance. So it's just the way the Jaguars, do things. They get into these competitions to win, not to just participate and be competitive. They get in here to win. And, yeah, they almost lost it yesterday, though, against the Southern Stings. But, I mean, it just shows the caliber of a team that they are and the players that they can stay in these tough situations and be able to pull out a win in really difficult situations.
But where did the Craneums lose it all? Because, I mean, if you remember 2014, 15, 16, in those early years, they were very dominant. It was the Jaguars chasing them. Where did it turn? Where did they stop? Where did they stop playing the ball? When did they start heading in the left of the direction that they wanted to instead of growing on that? Now you're seeing the Jaguars overtaking them even.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also, a lot of the players that were part of the Craneums in the initial stages, inception of the competition, they were pro-tier players, a lot of them. So they eventually moved overseas to play for international franchises. So the Craneums had to start from scratch and build. I mean, they still had Coach Bridget Akok, who was with them for many seasons, but now they're under Coach Martha Muswati. And that's why I'm saying, because there's an introduction of some pro-tier players in these teams, the performance and the strength of the teams has really improved.
I'm excited for it, but also you've got big player names, big people that have come on board here. I'm always intrigued when people come from overseas to come back here. We know the strength of leagues overseas. When they come back here to plow back, you got Carla Pastorius, for instance. How big is her influence? Yeah,
well, she's elevated the standard of the Craneums to the next level. She's a world class player, world renowned. Everybody knows Carla Pastorius. I mean, 2019 she was the world's best netball player. That's how amazing she is. And what she's done is basically to set a standard. She demands a lot from herself, but also expects that high level of performance from her teammates as well. And she leads by example. She's been the anchor for this Craneum side. And also, I think what she's also done is encouraged a lot of the players in the team to raise their standard. So she performs, but also now she puts pressure on the rest of the team to actually also step up. So she's been amazing for the Craneums, and through her leadership, she's also the captain of the team. Through her leadership, they find themselves in the final this year.
The World Cup showed us a lot about where netball is around the world, but also it almost put a mirror up to ourselves for us to see who and where we are. We were hosts, we're comfortable, we're well prepared, although many might argue, that the season didn't end at the time that it should have, so that we could have prepared better for the World Cup. But it put a mirror up so we could see who we are. When you then now look at post-World Cup, the players that we're grooming that are coming up, the players that are the current Spar Proteas players, What is the level of where we are at the moment?
It's scary, amazing. It's beautiful to see. I mean, we're busy with the Telkom Netball League, and I'm currently watching now the second division final. I'm telling you, Andile, we've never seen such a competitive second division competition throughout the years of the Telkom Netball League. The growth of the teams, the players, the competitiveness. Every match has been tightly contested. You can't call it who's going to win. On the day, it's just about what the teams deliver, between the four lines. We've never seen these matches go to extra time. And that's what we saw yesterday, in those semi-finals. Teams like the Comets that started being part of the Telkom Netball League about 2 or 3 seasons ago, they find themselves in a final only having lost one game. I cannot tell you the growth of netball in our country. It's exciting. And also to realize that, okay, Telkom Netball League has been around for so many years, and here we are. We've got 9 teams in the second division and 7 in the first division. That's 16 teams, and it's been just pulsating netball throughout the Telkom Netball League.
Wow. And I attended, obviously the World Cup matches were something different. I attended the basketball a couple of months ago when the NBA was here with the BAL. And I thought, wow, what a spectacle. It was packed in that arena. Tickets were selling out for every single match. It was great atmosphere. It was a great social place to be as well. How far are we from seeing that for netball? How far are we from seeing sold-out venues, better venues, bigger venues? I mean, we heard the promise of the President Cyril Ramaphosa to the netball president during the World Cup saying we need to get at least one decent, great, big-looking stadium for netball, a court that many can go and support this team in. But how far are we from, selling out tickets?
Yeah, well, I can tell you that we've made progress. I mean, we come from a time where there wouldn't be anybody in our arenas, but we are able to fill arenas. I mean, you can watch varsity netball wherever the teams are playing, whichever arena that they're using. It's full to capacity. Slowly but surely, there's progress, and I can tell you now, with the president saying, let's build an arena for netball, a home for netball, our people are going to come out, and we're going to start seeing the girls, getting the attention that they deserve. And also because our standard and our quality of performance is also going to improve. So, and I'm a firm believer that if the SPAR Proteas start performing and, going up the ranks, and when they play international test matches, they beat, the top teams, people are going to start being interested, coming on board and say, we want to see this, we want to support. So I really believe a lot of the pressure of getting our stadiums full does depend on the performance of the SPAR Proteas. I'm sort of putting myself under the bus there because I need to make sure that they do perform. But I do believe that our national team has a lot to do with us being able to fill up stadiums.
Who's your money on?
For
the final.
Which one? Division 1 or Division 2?
Well, I mean, okay, let me put it straight to you so that, you don't try and figure out a way to squeeze out of it and run away here, Zanele, because I can see where you're going at with this here. Jaguars, Crenhams, who's your money on?
Phew, I'll give it to Crenhams.
Ah, why?
There's just something there. I can't put my finger on it as yet, but I'll give it to the Crenhams.
Wow. Okay, we'll call you back after they've lost just to say we told you so.
My goodness, so you're a Jaguar. Okay. You don't have to say it. It's fine. So what happens when I'm right? What happens when the Crenhams win? What am I going to get for predicting it right?
I'll tell you what. We're going to have a little something here. We'll have a chat and then we'll text you. We'll send you the biggest bunch of flowers you've ever received. But then you must make time to come to the studio then if we're right.
100%.
It's a done deal. Ladies and gentlemen, former Proteas captain and now the assistant coach at the SPAR Proteas, Zanele Mdodana. Before we go, though, give us a call right now. We're taking your calls and your voice notes because we want to know your thoughts now that it's confirmed and you heard the details from the Super Journal. Nabi is coming to Chiefs.
Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303. Waking up, turned up.
Hi, Andile. I just want to ask the Super Journal regarding Nasruddin's mandates. In terms of youth development, has he been mandated to develop the young players at Kaizer Chiefs? Because for the past 2 seasons, they've been the ones most affected by this chopping and changing of coaches. You see players like Samkelo Zwane, Mduduzi Shabalala, as well as Andile Duba. You know, a whole host of talented youngsters that are not progressing and developing. So yeah, is Nasruddin been mandated to groom and sort of take the youngsters to the next level? Thank you.
Hi, Andile. It's Ndira from Kosovo in Samora. I think Nabi is good on bringing his own technical staff. The one thing he must also not forget, he must also bring his helmet.
Did he say he must bring his helmet? No, man. Play that again. I don't understand. I don't get it. Timmy, please come and explain.
Hi, Andile. It's Ndira from Kosovo in Samora. I think Nabi is good on bringing his own technical staff. The one thing he must also not forget, he must also bring his helmet.
He must bring his helmet. What's his helmet?
No, I think he's talking about, what you normally see, how Nseki left, how other coaches have left. But I think he's inciting violence. We don't encourage
is he saying he must wear a helmet just in case people throw things at him?
Yes.
No, that's rubbish, man. Yeah. No, that's rubbish.
I think Nabi make a good decision, Braga, for accepting Kaizer Chiefs' contract or the terms. So he did the right move as well to come in down here in South Africa with his technical team. I think Amakosi Bona. This next season for you, we'll go all out to the stadiums to make sure that we collect the maximum points.
Evening. Good evening, Andile and Bratim. Kunjani mo magents. Coach is gonna release players that he doesn't even know. He's going to get players that he doesn't even know. He's not familiar to players in South Africa. So how is he going to release players and how is he going to get players that he knows? No. This is fishy. They're still going to select players for him and then they will say it's him. But we'll see.
But remember,
Josie 14 social.
Josie, Mama Elaman, in the report, Yamazola Malefe, go to sabcsport.com. Now, that's where you're going to find the full story there. But he says that Fernando da Cruz is set to arrive in the country this week. So in 3 days' time, Fernando da Cruz is going to arrive. He's going to begin working and assessing the Kaizer Chiefs players. Nasruddin Nabi also wanted the ex-Farabat technical director on board. So there you go. They're going to assess the players. They're going to take a look at the players before the league begins, and see them play some matches, I'm pretty sure, in the off-season for preparations. And then I think that's when he'll make a lot of his decisions.
Yes, Andile. Nabi, all right. He must bring his own technical staff so we can see who's the problem there. I think the management was the problem.
Good evening, Andile. Yeah, Chiefs, I think manje is heading to the right direction. Dala ngabe bayenza lento abayenza manje ukuthi bathole ucoach ozoza ne-technical team yakhe ozozassessela yena ama-players awathola etimini ukuthi imapha azowadinga imapha angeke awadinga. Because i-Chiefs, I think, yiyo lento esibulalile kudala ukuthi ucoach ubengenayo i-full say ukuthi kenzalani. So big ups to what they're doing now. Hopefully results will come.
Andile, thanks for the show. This is Mike from Cape Town. Andile, happy for the Coast Nations. they have acquired the coach they have been looking for such a long time. And also, it's good to hear that now the coach will have a say when it comes to buying players, because every time the club supporters were blaming Bobby for doing his thing. So it's better now that the coach should do his own thing as a coach, and also when the results are not coming in, they should not blame the management. This is Mike. Thanks for the show.
Thank you.
Na a ke tlo tshosetsa ke batho ba ntse ba tshogile. I've seen this movie before. Yeah, why di coacher tse ba di reka di tla ka CV engwe impressive. A tle ba re ya motho sa la coacher Chelsea, a coacher monna le youth side ya Barcelona. But la ile Mzanzi wa Rikwero ba nga kushisi na ka tshoga. A batlelena ba sa tlo tsamaya distance engwe tele thata gore ba fitle ko leveleng e Sundowns leng mo yona. Danki ke Bongs Lenyora ko Montana. Ayoba.
But I think Bongs Lenyora ko Montana. Did you hear what Coach Ribeiro of Orlando Pirates said when he was here? He said those days of Sundowns' dominance are done. You know, he said it's never going to be as it was. And take a look at what many said about his CV when he got here. So I don't know. Is the gap really that big? He didn't think so.
Good evening, Brandile, and good evening to the Metro FM listeners of the award-winning Sportsnet Amplify.
This you know.
Hortman is talking about the cricket there in the USA, in the conditions. I mean, the batters is going to entertain the crowd, it's going to wow the crowd. But the bowlers are going to win you games, are going to win you tight matches. You see, so if pitches are conducive to bowling, I mean, I love it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, but games are like an hour
Andile,
too short, and 70 runs, 50 runs, 80 runs. Come on. Yeah, let the bowlers bowl, let it be tight, but give us over 100 in every game at least.
At every player. Hi, Andile. No. Tina Samakosi Nation, we are very happy for Nazar. And we wish him all the best. And I'm hoping he does good, takes Kaizer Chiefs back to the glory days.
Hello, Andilens. Hello, Ma'a. Emina ngijabulile bhuti wami, ngijabulile yabona like bo sign khona uNabi uyi-Kaizer Chiefs and uza ne-tactical team. That means no, we will do better. I just hope and pray ukuthi like abo Bobby laphana bamlalele the guy yazini bamsayinela ama player lawa bafunayo yabo. Mina ngijabulile bhuti wami, I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan and I love it with all my heart.
Oh, Andile.
Sibongeleni
lo kamkhwani kamgaya mathafeni I just want to comment kwi-Euro man. Hey, what a game for France. It was not easy, but let me congratulate them as my favorite to win their first game, and congratulations to N'Golo Kante for putting that big performance, and I wish our new player at Madrid, Kylian Mbappe, a speedy recovery. Thank you,
Yeah, Kylian Mbappe breaking his nose last night in that game. He might miss the next match coming up now for France, but he's going to be all right. I'm pretty sure he's going to be all right.
But my problem, Guri, utlisa motho sa tsebeng le coach, that's one. No batlo romela assessor ya ga ke ona hantsa le busy ena la Morocco because ona le final ya uqina tsonza idla. O tlo romela assessor e tlo assessa di player e bone hore who's who, go dula mang go sala mang jwalo ba bona. So kere okay, if ba dumelletse Nabi a qobe squad ba re keng technical team ya ga ya tlo spana le yona. Why ba sa etsa jwalo ka Pitso? Ka ba tontitse Pitso at least wa tseba majita kaofela. Wa tseba re tla streamer jwang a bele ya I just squad sa tseba re
Come on, man.
Ke ba bo Sorino mona ba batla go baya bo Zoom maybe Pitso na ka ba tonta ba tlise ko Chiefs. I don't shape Chiefs be right team but give more.
I don't understand. I don't know what you want. Before Jose Ribeiro came to Orlando Pirates, no one knew who he was. He's won 2 trophies every season for the last 2 seasons. He didn't know the Orlando Pirates players. He didn't know African football. He had never coached in Africa. So what are you talking about? What are we talking about? Kroll came here. He won things. What are we talking about, guys? You're going to tell me the coach doesn't know anyone, he doesn't know football? Yeah, that's what happens when they first arrive here. In his first season at Kaizer Chiefs, Ernst Middendorp won, I think, 2 trophies. But I know he definitely won 1 in his first season in Africa. In South Africa, in fact. I don't understand. Let's go to Sam. Sam is out in Rustenburg, wants to speak about Nabi. Sam.
Hey, Ma, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm confused, man.
I'm listening to these comments.
Hi. What do you guys want, Gandhi?
I think most of the guys who are commenting on Kosi, they are not real Chief supporters. And the problem with Chief supporters is that they want to dictate for everything that's happening in Chiefs, which is the problem right now. And I'm just saying, let's give the guy a chance. Let's not hope for miracles. Let's give the guy a chance. Let's support him. Because we always said we wanted a coach who's going to bring his own technical team. Now the guy is coming with his own people. He's sending his assessor to assess the players. Let's give the guy a chance. Let's stop going to the stadium and tell the coach what to do. Let's just go there and support the guy. And let's give him a full first season and see what he will deliver. And then we'll take it from there. If you remember when Pito arrived at Sundowns, it was not a well-oiled machine. Look at Sundowns today, Mara. Look at Sundowns. Even I can go and coach Sundowns. I will win.
Let's go to Aya Bulela. Aya Bulela is out in East London, wants to speak PSL. Aya.
Godman, go grand.
No one to ride, man. I'm right one.
Go grand. For East London. I just wanted to comment on the issue of PSL. If you have been listening to this show for the longest time, I mean the whole year, even the year before. What I'm noticing is that most of the listeners, they do not watch football. That's what I'm noticing. You judge that from the comments. And now to SABC to go back and fight for your rights to the PSL, because it's very expensive to watch a PSL. And then you can pick that up from the listeners. But when they comment, you can hear, but no, man, this person actually does not watch football to that level. I don't want to say they do not understand, but they do understand, but they do not watch. And then the technicalities can go of us getting the rights as SABC. Because the SABC is us. SABC is a public broadcast. So I don't know the technicalities about what would it mean, but I know that we have to pay the TV licenses and everything. SABC needs to make sure about to collect from us.
Oh, ayabulela ndiyazi uba yintoni le wenzayo mani ikhala izinto le phone yakho and you've got such important points to make. I don't know if you can perhaps get your cheeks not so close to the actual screen because I think you're pressing the buttons there. But anyway, very important points. Please do go on.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, can you hear me now?
Ndiyakuva.
Yeah. So what I'm saying in the Balekle is that SABC, the bosses, they need to craft a way where we can get rights the football back. Because if look at the support Bafana is getting from the people. Look at the motivation from the players because they know the whole country is watching. You understand? They know for sure that we are getting SABC now. We can just download, even if I'm not home, like now, I can listen to you. Even if I'm not home, I can watch. I was not home when I was watching Bafana Zimbabwe game. So I think that is the problem with the PSL. It's very expensive to watch PSL. And then with the Kaizer Chiefs is not coming back, man, not anytime soon. So they must relax. Pakania is still going to rule. It's on down to the Italian away. So that is just a point that I wanted to raise when I got man. But this is the struggle we faced with as South Africans.
I really do appreciate that. Yes, the game of millions has not been the game of millions for too long. The millions now represent not the people, but the money. Let's go to Kabelo.
Yes,
Kabelo wants to speak and welcome Nabi. Kabelo.
I want to greet you. I want to greet him. I want to greet everybody for the stadium. We are happy. We are happy. I want to thank management and everybody that made sure that we get our coach Nabi. And all these particulars, they must come. And also supporters, we must give him a chance. This thing of after one season we say you must go, you must go. We are the ones that are very impatient, and we are making noise to the management. Change him. This time we are going to give him all the support. Even after 1 year, we want to see what he's gonna do. Coach Nabi, wherever you are listening, I know you can hear me. Welcome. We are waiting for you. Everybody must return. Jessica, please bring all the new jersey. Let us buy everything. We're gonna make a sold out. Thank you very much, Oga.
Gabelo, out in Pretoria. Pendulo, we're waiting for Faith, so we might as well slinde nawe.
Hola, ma'a.
Grand.
Ndimnandi tata kunjani?
Nano right man. Nabi man.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him to sign.
Let me ask you something. What do you know about Nabi that you are happy? What makes you happy? Wasn't one guy?
I only had a bid when he was still in Tanzania and he was still free at that time. But you know how football works. The guy was available, we couldn't sign him, but now when it needs payment, that's when we are going for him. It's quite strange. But nevertheless, I'm sure that he's going to bring some change, and because Kaizer Chiefs really need an overhaul of the players, and I wish they can give him enough budget, like Peter was saying, that if ever the money is available, then it will be easy to bring results. He could be accountable for the results.
And
I wish that's what they could do for him at Kaizer Chiefs. And that's a remove for being an Kaizer man. Akabuye football man, because I went with Kakusha, man. I'm so happy as if in the Kaizer Chiefs, but nevertheless, I'm wishing the guy all the best. But he must restart that team from the bottom to the top.
Pendulo, out in Cape Town, I appreciate it. A big shout out. Remember when Kickoff closed their doors, we had them here and we celebrated that magnificent art piece that is Kickoff magazine. Well, Soccer Laduma is closing its doors as well. Soccer Laduma will be shutting their doors down, and they're not even going digital from what I'm seeing. That's it. It's the end of it. Sad news that, but it's not as sad as much as it is progression, isn't it? We all move on. 7 up to the hour 7. Let's do this again tomorrow between 6 and 7. I'm Andile Ncube. Zanele Mdodana. Pela, manzomi.